I like Callaway wedges, but they just invented one for golfers like me. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I've used a Callaway wedge for a long time here, last year or so, and it's a PM grind, and it's a really nice club. And I've had some good success with it, but it's also not the easiest club to hit. Now, I've actually learned a lot about Wedge Technology lately, and that they are not quite what you think. They are a little bit different than all the other irons, but most wedges I've ever seen are just like these forged, milled, fairly unforgiving wedges. And this Callaway here has this little CB on the back because, as you can tell, this is a cavity back wedge. It's got this big opening in the back. You can see that there. And what's really interesting about this is that even though they write Mac Daddy on here, they will let you play this even if you're not a Mac Daddy, like this guy. But it seemed like all the advantages of the other Callaway wedges that I love, and even more forgiveness potentially. So I picked this one up. It's actually got a KBS high rev graphite shaft in it. This is the 80 gram. I really kind of wanted the perception of more head weight down low, down on the head, than just on the whole club itself. And I really kind of like this shaft. And because I am now playing graphite shafts in all my clubs, including my new irons, I actually just wanted the consistent feel of playing graphite in the wedges as well. Just didn't want kind of a different feel when I grabbed my wedge. Now, what's really interesting about this, and I can't tell you all the science about it, but basically what they do here is perimeter weight. So it should be more forgiving. It's definitely a game improvement iron. And when you look at it at address, it looks just like most of their other wedges. Now, what I will say here is that when I compare this to my PM grind, the toe here isn't as high. It's definitely more rounded off. It's got a little bit more of an inviting traditional look. It's not quite as dramatic with that pointy edge here. But what you do get is this full face grooves, which is nice because especially if you're going to open this up a little bit, maybe you don't hit it in the sweet spot, you still have grooves all the way to the edge, which helps the ball get the spin that you need, especially around the green. Now, the other thing that does is a little bit of an optical illusion. It just makes the head look bigger. It makes it look more inviting, more forgiving, gives people like me confidence when you get up to it, even though it's a really big head. And I haven't really struggled with my wedges in particular. It's just kind of nice. Now, it has nice weight on it too. Obviously, wedges have a lot of weight, not only because they're angled back and so you need a bigger face on them, but because you usually have this big hosel right here. So one of the things that I have learned about that is because the hosel's here, the center of gravity is usually a little bit heel side as opposed to center as it is on some other clubs. So you actually want to strike the ball kind of a little closer to the heel on most cases. Now, the question about this is that will this club, one, be as good as my PM grind, which I really actually like, and if it's better, will it go in the bag? So what we need to do here is get out on the course and hit some shots with it and see what it feels like. So I thought I'd take a few warm-up shots at the practice green, and what I wanted to do was hit the golf ball where there was very little green. And what I wanted to do here is just stay square to the target, not open up the club face, and just see how well the balls would sit. Now, these are ionomer cover golf balls. They are not urethane, so they don't get a really good bite on the club face. But what I liked here is that even with just some little chipping, this was a club that would launch the ball and then get it to sit within a foot or two of where it landed. So that is really, really great. It's a great club for just getting up high and then sitting that ball down on the green. So I really like that. It was a great club around the green. Now, I ended up having a bunch of these shots on the actual course, and this was a great up and down club while I was actually playing the round too. So that really impressed me. Now, my first real shot towards the green, an approach shot, was about 55 yards, and I left it just a little bit fat as I was getting a feel for the club. It just sat in front of the hole about 5 yards. Later on, I had almost the exact same shot again, but this time I put it within about 3 feet of the pin, so that was pretty awesome. Not too shabby. All right, I played all day, full 18 with this Mac Daddy cavity back wedge, and I tell you what, it was awesome. It just feels so good. It's so forgiving. It's got a nice tempo to it. It's got a nice weight, and man, I actually played this a lot better than my PM grind, which I was surprised with because my PM grind has been my go-to club. So if you're a golfer like me, you're a bogey golfer. You just like being consistent. You are looking for forgiveness. You don't want to dump shots. You don't want to scald them or anything like that. I think this is a great club. If you want to pick this up, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.